Welcome to the Highly Effective Man podcast, hosted by former Navy SEAL turned life and fitness coach. I'm your host, JP Bolwahnn. This podcast is your resource for unlocking the healthiest, most productive, and highly effective man within you. Let's go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Highly Effective Man podcast. I'm your host, JP Bolwahnn, and this is where we break through limits, challenge mediocrity, and craft lives of meaning and impact. So whether you're driving, hitting the gym, or just catching your breath in a busy day, I'm super grateful you're here. So today, I want to speak to you guys from the heart. Okay, this isn't going to be my typical podcast. All right, with Christmas on the horizon, I've been doing a lot of reflecting. And some of the things I've been thinking about are about faith, purpose, and the invisible forces that shape our lives. And my hope is that this episode lights a fire under you. It helps you pause and makes you think about where you are and where you're going. So a few days ago, I was out watering my lawn, and honestly, it's more weeds than it is grass right now. But I'm working on it, okay? But I stood there. The point is that I stood there with the hose, and I'm spraying the water, and I notice how the wind is pushing the water in different directions. Right? I have to keep moving my body because the hose that I have is just it's not long enough, and I'm trying to hit these like different corners of the lawn, and the wind just keeps kind of pushing it left and right and up or down. And I was just started thinking, I was like, wow, I can't see the wind, but I can see its effects, right? I could see it rippling through the water. I could see the wind swaying through the trees. I could see how it's changing everything it touches, right? And then it hit me, like we all believe in the wind and we don't question its existence because we see what it does. We feel it. We know it's there, even though we can't see it, right? And for whatever reason, I had this thought, and it was like, why is it so hard for us to believe in God? Why do we struggle to trust that something bigger is guiding us, even when we can't see it? Now, before I go any further, we're going to do a little exercise, right? And we're going to pause for a moment. And if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, please, if you're driving, do not close your eyes. But I want you to think about the challenges that you've overcome in your life. Who has helped you during those times? Who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself? And how have those moments shaped the man you are today? And then I want you to take it a step further. Imagine what your life could look like if you fully embraced your potential. Picture yourself as the man you want to be: fit, confident, purposeful. What does he do? How does he carry himself? Who is impacted by his strength and leadership? So, what I want to do is just take 30 seconds, reflect on those questions, and let those memories and visions think in. We'll start now. What challenges have you overcome? Who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself? How have those moments shaped you today? And picture where you want to be, the life you want to live. What does he do? How does he carry himself? Who does he impact? Okay. Now, let me tell you something that I don't really talk about often. Okay. It's my past when I was a kid. And, you know, when I think about it, it's crazy because, I wasn't always the man sitting here talking to you about purpose and belief. Okay. Growing up in Albuquerque, I was surrounded by chaos. I had friends that were locked up for murder, others that were selling drugs, doing drugs. And that could have been my story too. Okay. So I actually ended up in juvenile detention when I was 15 years old. And honestly, that should have been the end of my story, but it wasn't. Okay. While I was in juvie, a man named Major Barker, who was, part of the high school ROTC program, he came to see me. And we're sitting there in the visiting room, and he sat across from me and he said, "Look around you." He's like, "You don't belong here." And so I kind of paused. I look around. I had some conversations with some of the guys that were there, and I realized what he was talking about, and I said, "Damn, I don't belong here." And he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to drive across town, take time out of his life to show up for a kid who was a troublemaker, a little punk, basically who was lost. But he did. And I've often wondered, what drove him to do that? Was it God that was working through him? I believe it, it very well could have been. But that conversation stuck with me. And after that visit, I started doing better in school. I got involved with sports. I started playing football. And for the first time, I started to see a different future for myself. Major Barker didn't give me advice, he gave me belief. What if he hadn't shown up? What if he decided I wasn't worth it? I don't even want to think about where I'd be. But he did show up. And that choice to see something in me when I couldn't, that changed everything. So, my question for you is, who's been your Major Barker? Who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself? And have you reached out to thank them? And if not, why not do it today? And think about this. Could you be someone else's or someone's Major Barker? Could you be the one to show up for a man who's struggling, who can't yet see his own potential? Don't underestimate the power of one moment, one conversation to change somebody's life. When I think about that moment, that was a life-changing moment for me. It planted a seed. And it's probably because of him that I ended up, joining the Navy. And because of him, I made the decision to become a Navy. He was a Marine, but I was like, well, I'm gonna do one better. I'm gonna go become a Navy SEAL. And the rest is history. Fast forward to now, my family and I are almost finished building our home here on Kauai, and man, it's been a journey. It's exciting. It's exhausting. Sometimes it's you know downright frustrating. Probably most of the time it's frustrating, to be honest with you. But here's the incredible part. Incredible part. Okay, we have a view of the ocean, and that's something I saw in my dreams when I was a kid, and but I never knew if it would ever become a reality. And standing on this property now, like I'm reminded that even the things that I thought were, out of reach or impossible are now possible. And it's easy to get caught up in the weeds, literally and figuratively. You know, I'm super driven by nature, and there's no doubt about it that when I put my mind to something, I'm going to see it through. But that drive can be a double-edged sword. I can get so focused on what's next and what I want to accomplish that I forget to appreciate what's right in front of me, what's already in my life. And here's what I've learned. My past struggles, they've shaped me into the man I am today. They've made me stronger, more focused, and more grateful for the things that I have and the life that I've built. And I know that there's still more to come. And, I think about the challenges I face now. They're not setbacks, they're the foundation, for an even stronger future. So think about it. Are you so focused on chasing your next goal that you're forgetting to appreciate what's already in front of you? Take a moment and look around you. What do you already have in your life that you once dreamed about? Think of a tree. The storms that push it around and break its branches and tear out its roots. Those are the same storms that make that tree dig deeper, grow stronger, and reach higher. You are that tree. And every challenge that you've faced, every struggle that you've endured has shaped you into the man you are today. Now, I'm not here to preach to you because, to be honest, faith is personal. And, I'll be the first to admit that I don't have all the answers. But I'll say this, just like the wind, there's forces in our lives that we cannot see, but we can feel. God's presence, if you choose to see it that way, it shows up in the effects he creates in love, hope, resilience, in those moments when you felt like you couldn't take another step, but somehow you found the strength to keep going. And if you're struggling to believe, start small. Start by just looking at your life. Where have you seen second chances? Where have you found strength you didn't know you had? Maybe those aren't coincidences. Maybe that's something greater nudging you forward. And here's what I want you to do this week. There's 4 simple steps to bring faith and gratitude into your life. Number 1, reflect on your journey. Just take 10 minutes, look back on your life and write down 3 times when you overcame something you didn't think you could. Ask yourself, what got you through it? And how did those struggles shape the man I am today? Number 2, shift to gratitude. Start your mornings with gratitude. I've talked about this in previous podcasts. Write down just one thing you're grateful for every day, even if it's just something small. And you can say the same thing every day. But gratitude rewires your perspective for the day. It helps you just start the day off in a much better mindset. Number 3, be the wind for somebody else. Reach out to someone who you think might need some encouragement. Just like Major Barker did for me. That small act could change everything for them. And you may not know for your whole life what it did for them. But just know that maybe just by reaching out and showing some encouragement, you could change their life. And number 4, just take one bold step. Do something this week that scares you, but moves you forward. It could be reaching out to someone you've lost touch with, or setting a boundary that you've been avoiding, or taking the first step toward a goal that you've been putting off. Trust that you're not doing it alone. The one bold step that I'm doing it right now because I kind of went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to write a podcast about faith and God. And because, like I said, it's personal and, you never know how somebody's going to react to it. And then I started thinking no, man, I want people like this in my life. I want to attract people like this in my life that believe that, are really, truly trying to push themselves to be the best people they can be. Because when you think about it, we're not meant to do this alone. You're part of a brotherhood that lifts each other up. Imagine the impact if every man who heard this and shared it with just one other person. Together we can create a ripple effect of men stepping up, showing gratitude, and making an impact. Christmas is coming, and it's more than just a holiday. It's a reminder of hope, redemption, the invisible forces that guide us. And whether you celebrate it for its spiritual meanings or its traditions, let it inspire you to believe in something bigger, to love more deeply, to give more generously, and to live with greater purpose. So here's your challenge. Before the day ends, I want you to do two things. First, thank someone who's been your major barker. And then second, share this episode with another brother who you think needs to hear it. Together, we can create a ripple effect of change. And finally, imagine this. What could your life look like if you fully embraced the belief that every struggle, every triumph, and every nudge forward is shaping you into the man you're meant to be? That's the vision I want you to carry with you as we close out this year. Let's not wait for life to happen to us. Let's grab a hold of it, shape it, and lead with purpose. Together, as highly effective men, we can transform not just ourselves, but the world around us. It starts with you, and it starts today. Thank you for being here. And if this episode moved you, share it. Send it to somebody who needs to hear it. Let's spread this message together. And as always, if you're ready to go deeper, join us in the Highly Effective Man community, because this is just the beginning. Let's go. Thanks for tuning in to the Highly Effective Man podcast. If you found value today, hit that subscribe button and stay connected. I want to invite you to join my incredible community, the Highly Effective Man. The link is in the show notes below. It's a powerful space where you'll find support, accountability, and camaraderie with men who are committed to growth and living purposefully. And your voice matters, so leave a review and share your thoughts and help us reach more men just like you. Together, let's elevate our lives and become the best versions of ourselves. Stay highly effective. See you next time.